It might be. All good.
Thanks, FMN.
Yeah, whatever that is. I'm looking forward to it being completely outshined by Dave's upcoming album, which is at the start of March. Yes.
Thank you.
How we going, guys? Welcome to number 3, Playerstreet Beats. Welcoming the feedback. This episode's hopefully going to be a little bit more condensed than what we've had in the past, and we're just reviewing the best UK artist right now, in my humble opinion. The man, Dave himself, Dave Santen.
Debatable.
Liam, do you have anything to say about Dave?
Not much. The only track I really know him from is Wanna Know. I think that became popular from Drake's remix. It's the classic.
Yeah.
Classic Drake, just bringing out dope artists by the sounds of it. Yeah, since you put a lot on his name, I think you can introduce him.
Pro. Okay. Well, Dave has definitely been, I don't know, he's somehow, I'm not really into conscious rap myself, but somehow Dave comes up with a way to seemingly perfectly balance conscious topics as also turn up songs, which is something I really appreciate. Using kind of American trap sounds alongside with his kind of strong UK accent and UK lingo brings something fresh to the table, which I thoroughly enjoy. He's got two of my favorite hits, obviously Wanna Know, No Words, and also Funky Friday, which isn't too old now. Picked up amazing heat. But his recent album that came out a little while ago, about a week or two ago now, debuted at number 1 on the UK's Hot 100 or Billboard 100.
Yeah.
And sounding pretty nice. Do you have any standout tracks, bro?
Yeah. I think before I name the album, Psychodrama is the album. Yeah. I think that standout tracks for me would be the first track. Was a bit of a standout. Psycho. I was a bit disappointed. I'm not disappointed, but a bit bored in the first part of the actual track. Just 'cause it seemed very slow, very dramatic, played out, which is 1, not what I was expecting for an opening track, and 2, not expecting from him after Wanna Know. But there's a part throughout the song, I think it's just after halfway, where it switches up the beat, and he goes pretty hard on it, and it's probably my favorite part out of the whole album.
Yeah.
And I put that switch up on the beat on level with Sicko Mode.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, because this a big part of this album was the fact that he's dealing with depression, and it's meant to be very personal albums about his personal ups and downs. So I feel like because it's the opening track and it's kind of like the title track, like Psychodrama and Psycho, similar to how one's emotions through the journey he's been on are constantly going up and down. I like the way he's started off slow and then he's picked it up, and then towards the end, he goes back and talking about like depression, suicide, things like that. And as I was saying, this track is just another one of those good examples of how you can make a turn-up song which also touches on, like semi-conscious topics. It definitely seems, I find it quite unique at the moment. Yeah,
I think he does really well. In saying that, and also in saying of that's the whole theme, the vibe of the album. I think that throughout the album he sticks pretty well to that as well. You don't get too bored. Like, I didn't find myself getting bored after the first track. I thought it held its own pretty well.
Yeah.
How about you? Moving on from Psycho.
Next one's Stratham. I love it because it's such a personal album, and this being his first kind of debut studio album. Stratham, talking about where he grew up, talking about kind of like the ins and outs of what it's like to grow up there briefly, but I mean, he doesn't go into it so deeply that it gets boring to me. He just kind of like touches on the nice parts of it and still creates like kind of like a hard, progressive beat. Quite lovely.
No, it is. I think his flow is really nice in this track as well. And also moving on to the next track, Black. I think his flow on that is really nice. I mean, listen to the lyrics, you can interpret it however you want, take it however you want. But I think his flow in that and the beat itself it's a nice beat. It keeps it going. It keeps the for a third track in the album, I think it keeps it going, keeps the album flowing pretty nicely. Picks it up a little, and keeps you on your toes a bit, anticipating what the next track's gonna be. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when I saw the title of that song, I thought it was going to be kind of generic because I don't think it's a very untouched concept for rappers to be talking about the struggle regarding their skin color.
Yeah.
But when I heard it, I don't know. I do feel like he kind of takes this new kind of patriotism about it, and I really kind of respect that. Like talking about the intricacies of that culture, especially kind of in a UK setting.
Yeah. Actually, also in saying that, for the viewers out there, if you want, there's a American artist by the name of Buddy, I'm pretty sure, and he released an album, and he has a track on there called Black as well. So if you want to do your own little comparison out there, in terms of lyrics and song-wise and meaning, I reckon that'd be a pretty two tracks. I think it'd be really good to listen to because they're pretty similar to each other.
His one talking about like the similar content, kind of like the struggle of...
kind of similar, yeah, in terms of black people in general, and two different perspectives, one from the UK, one from America. So I definitely suggest checking that out.
Yeah.
Moving on from that though, I think it's also good to note that, like you said earlier, bringing in elements of like American style sounds in terms of beat wise.
Yeah.
I think he does a lot better than our previous review on AJ Tracy.
Absolutely.
There were tracks on there that were definitely just very heavily influenced, but I think what Dave does a bit better here is that he keeps it true to himself and where he's from in terms of little things that add to the production that remind you of, oh, that's something you would hear in an American hip hop beat, but still surrounded by a lot of things in the beat that are still very UK, the whole EDM garage band kind of sound bringing into hip hop and whatnot. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know. You know me, bro. You guys know me. I'm very humble. I don't like to say that I was right, but if you recall on the last episode, I did say Dave's album is gonna vastly outshine AJ Tracy's album, and if you listen to them one after the other, I can guarantee that you'll find me correct. Which is not really surprising. Most of the time I'm correct. But,
bro, you know what?
Just reminding everyone, that was the call that was made 3 weeks ago, and now the prophecy has been fulfilled.
I just want to remind everyone too about that one lovely hate comment we got about Calvin being so far up his own ass with his own opinions. That was very reminiscent of that as well. Thank you there, Calvin.
Bro, to conquer your flaws, you must first embrace them. Facebook taught me that in 2008, man. Anyways, Location, bro, featuring Burna Boy.
Oh, I thought that was amazing. I really liked it. That was another big standout track coming from Psycho. That's definitely in the first part of this album. Burna was amazing. It's what I expected after Wanna Know. And for a track that I anticipated, it didn't disappoint.
So why was it what you expected after Wanna Know?
In terms of like vocals, with the singing, with the beat, the kind of what would you put the beat on, the Afro beat type of?
Well, Wanna Know and this aren't have the same beat, but I don't know. I feel like the way like he approaches it with certain kind of similarities.
Yeah. So more of, I would say, like you say, in terms of the way he approaches the beat. With it, and then also the vocals from Burna Boy.
Yeah,
I really enjoy those vocals on a beat like this, like in an Afro type beat, and I think he does really well, really good as well. And I think it just adds to the whole UK vibe because they're definitely on their own kind of not level but own vibe in terms of sound, incorporating that more Afrobeat, Caribbean style, Jamaican dancehall, fusion type. Yeah.
He had actually one of my favourite lines in there. I forgot to mention this to you before. Shout out to Priyank, right? Girl from India, something nani, head so good that I speak Gujarati. I thought that was like quite notable. I've never heard a line like that at all. So Dave's really breaking new ground with lines like that, I believe.
I think also, I mean, before we get to the second part of the album, the whole I think throughout the whole album you can get like very memorable lines. Actually, in particular, Instagram lines. You know, Instagram captions or photo
Social media
captions.
slaves.
Yeah, you know.
Sorry,
Yeah.
continue.
Anyway, before I was rudely interrupted.
Apologies.
Purple Heart was one of my faves, with the chorus being "You're a gem and I ain't talking about star signs." I thought that was a lovely little double entendre, as my lovely friend Calvin put it earlier.
It wasn't the chorus.
Oh, wasn't it?
No.
Oh,
But it was a notable line.
It was
Don't,
notable?
don't let
Oh,
that me.
I thought it
let
was
me
the chorus.
discredit you. Yes.
sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's another line that stuck out to me, and
Yeah.
when I put up a photo of my loved one, I think that will be my caption.
Wow.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Disaster with J Hus.
I'll let you take away on this one.
Song's a banger, bro. Straight up. Like, I don't know, it's so weird to hear a song with such a slow tempo just like go so hard, and I think because they're making a proper use of passing the mic to each other, having like a few lines, and then the last few words that Dave says is the start of J Hus's line that goes in a completely different direction. I don't know, kind of the best song to do that ever was Two of America's Most Wanted, of course. This doesn't live up to that, but for people in the UK where, you know, they're still kind of finding their feet, I think they've done a good job.
Doing pretty well, huh?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I don't really have much to say. I was gonna leave that track all up to you because you're more the lyrical side in this duo.
What the heck? You're the lyrical side, bro. I'm the...
Oh, but in terms of flow, in terms of like working off
flow,
each
rhyme
other,
schemes,
flow,
of course,
rhyme
right.
schemes, yeah, I feel like, you know,
My
you,
area of expertise.
that definitely
Thank you.
is.
Thank you.
Moving on from there, we're moving on to Screwface Capital.
Yeah.
I really like this track. It was a track that would come on while I'm on the train going to work, or coming home from work, or drive around the car. But I mean, I'd be going through the album and it'd come on, and it'd be one that I find myself playing again. Especially with the end. I mean, it's a nice little instrumental at the end. Pretty sure that's Screwface. Yeah. I really liked it. His flow on it is nice. Just everything about the track just seems to flow really nice. And not to discredit to the track, but I think it's a really nice background song to whatever you're doing.
Yeah,
whether it be cruising, relaxing.
The instrumental itself is like, it's really nice and progressive, like semi-repetitive, and like the thing is, the beat is nice and clean, but it doesn't kind of overpower his vocals at all.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's kind of consistent throughout this whole album actually. But then, and I do, as I was saying, that little part at the end, the little xylophone or piano solo that went on, really kind of like paints a beautiful picture in your mind.
Yeah, it does. No, I think it does really well, and I think throughout the whole album too, it's also good to note that he was pretty stingy with who he brought on as features. J Hus was one feature, and Burna Boy. He held.
There's a female doing vocals on
Oh
Leslie.
yeah, don't know her name, but I think it's also like pretty good to note that he held a whole album
himself.
Yeah, virtually by himself.
Pretty well.
And yeah, it does sound pretty well. It does go really nice. And yeah, moving on from that, we have.
Sorry, I'm going to interject.
Yep.
I think the last notable track on this be Leslie. Would you agree?
Yeah.
I feel like you have a strong opinion on it.
I do.
Unfortunately.
I do have a strong opinion on it, and I think that I could get some backlash from it, but I'll be honest anyway. But
Don't worry, bro. Your reputation won't be tainted from this video, I'm sure.
Yes. So first of all, I think that with this whole album, I think it would have sat better being the final track on the album, which it isn't. I think it's the third last on the track. I think it would have fit better being an 11 minute track. Second of all, being 11 minutes was so long, but I mean, you're listening to the whole album fully. I mean, you're gonna listen to the track anyway, and as it goes on and progresses, you may think, what is going on here? You may think, oh wow, I'm really vibing with this whole story that he's telling here. But because it's so long, you're invested at the start. He loses me, or may lose you in like after the first 3 minutes, because it's boring. but then it's long enough for you to listen in on those last 5 minutes, and because it's so intense, it brings it home, and you're gonna listen to it and you're gonna like, oh wow, what a track. But it didn't really do the trick for me. Like,
You're disgusting.
okay,
Bro, anyone that'll criticize a song that's aimed towards fighting domestic violence is a sinner in my eyes. You should really reconsider your morals, bro. No,
I was just looking at
Sorry.
the track,
No.
but the meaning is
Sorry.
obviously something you should definitely take away
I
from.
was
but
pretending to be someone from the left-wing media, bro. No.
oh, sorry.
No, sorry. No, this song, as I've said previously, it's another just good example of Dave throwing on a good example of kind of like a catchy song. It's not overly catchy, but he's incorporated into his album, but he's still touching on, conscious topics such as domestic violence and kind of how it actually plays out. And one of the lines, even though it is an 11-minute song, I didn't even realize it was 11 minutes at the start. Or like throughout the song,
actually,
until the end, I was like, have I put this on repeat or something? And then I looked and it was 7 minutes in. I was like, damn. No, but it did actually keep me captivated. Obviously, it's each to their own. But I think one important line is, and it applies to all of these kind of tough topics. He says, "I understand that I will never understand." And like, I don't know, factors like that make me feel like he is taking the right approach. He's raising awareness and stuff like that, but he's not pretending to kind of be in the position of knowledge that he isn't. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. I respect that.
The job of music is to keep you captivated. So if he hasn't done that to you, Liam, I don't know. Maybe it's a problem with him, bro. Maybe you aren't the problem.
Maybe it is. Maybe it is.
Give it a listen yourself.
Yeah. You listen. Let us know in the comment section what you think of it. But yeah, moving on. I don't know. I don't have much to say about the last 2 tracks on the album. Like I said, I thought that the album should have finished with Leslie. I didn't pay too much attention to the last 2 tracks. Sorry, Dave.
Yes. Drama and Voices. Drama's not a bad song. Kind of goes personal. Voice is whack. Designed for the radio. I'm sorry, Dave. Disappointed me with that one. But, plenty of time, plenty of more albums to release, bro. Let's get it. I believe in you. He's definitely gonna watch
disappointed
this.
with that one.
Bro. With Voices.
How can you be disappointed for pointing out something that's blatantly for the radio? He's got to get some type of play.
Bro, personal albums should not be like designed for the radio, bro. Otherwise, it's not a personal album. It's like hypocritical. It's personal or it's for the radio. It's not like both. But I don't know. Maybe
you're just jumping from one end of the
was...
spectrum to the other. What you can't have something in between? Is it what do you think because that track is at the end? Maybe if it was in the middle of the album,
Right,
to break it up into 2 parts of a personal album, that's blatantly a.
Can't I have an opinion?
No. Can't I have questions, bro?
No, you have a good point. Maybe it is a perfect medium. I considered it a bit too tailored for the radio.
Yeah, okay.
But I mean, that being said, theoretically, people should be able to do a balance. But
yeah, okay.
I'm telling you now,
Fair enough.
Dave did not do that.
Okay.
In my humble opinion.
Well, since we've come to the end, we will now be giving you an overview of the album and a rating. Calvin,
Alright.
would you like to go first?
I'm gonna give this a 7 out of 10. It's a good album. Definitely one of his better than both of his EPs that he's released. As I said, makes a turn-up album and something that gets you thinking. Something that makes you feel good about yourself and feel sympathy to others. Slightly evocative, like emotionally, which is something I wasn't really expecting. Definitely kind of tells you something about his character, which is the main goal of a personal album. So yeah, I'll say a strong 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10. Alright, well, my review of the album, I gotta look at Dave and thinking of the whole album and then thinking of my first track of Dave, which was Wanna Know. That was my expectations for something a bit more hype. I think the opening to Psycho really just set the whole tone of the album very slow, and it was a bit slow for me, which is why I was a bit disappointed with the album. I'm still gonna give it a good 5. I do like it. He kept the theme of the album pretty well, and I really respect that it's his first debut album and he only had 3 features on there and he held an album on his own. I think it's pretty good to know. So yeah.
How did you Didn't you give AJ's Tracy album a 5?
Yeah. I guess that says
And
a lot on my opinion on UK rappers, which is why our next album will not be a
Says
UK
a lot.
rapper.
Says a lot on your ear for music, bro.
No, it doesn't, because you talk about a personal album, okay, for a UK rapper such as Dave, decent album, okay, and then you look at someone like J. Cole.
Oh my god.
Oh.
Alright, leave J. Cole out of this,
All
bro.
right,
J.
fine.
Cole is not a proper reference point.
Okay, fine. It's a
Okay.
debate for another segment.
Okay. Alright.
Anyway,
For the record, in the last one we did establish that AJ Tracy failed at making a personal album. Okay, so you said that Dave, to an extent, has succeeded in making a personal album.
Mm-hmm.
So just that alone should create some kind of deviation between the two numbers. However, it hasn't. So that would tell me that the quality of the production quality is lacking in Dave's album, but it isn't either. But that's all right. Agree to disagree, bro. Have a think about yourself. Rewatch the podcast. But yeah.
All right.
Would you like to wrap it up, bro?
Wrap it up. Okay. Wrapping up. If you stayed to the end of the video, thank you very much. You're appreciated. Calvin and I love you dearly. Closing out though, we're going to refer back to Mac Zaddy. His link you can find in our description. He'll be releasing his EP on the 27th. 28th, the 28th of March. Keep an ear out for that. I'll be on SoundCloud. And like I said, follow through on the link. And also, we'll be looking at. Advise you to keep a lookout for a rapper by the name of Keyleza. He's releasing his new track out on the 29th? 29th, yeah, the 29th of March. Keep up for him. He's doing a lot for Brisbane, putting us on the map, so to speak. But yeah, stay tuned.
Lovely. See you guys next time.
Thank you.
Going.
Since you want me do that, me no want to. That girl, she click from her chest to her hips, she want one more. Maybe hit it 2 times, maybe 3 times, she want one more. Maybe hit it 5 times, maybe 6 times, she want no more. I like the way you move, I like the way you do the things you do. I like the shape of you, let me embracing you for my ace in you. Looking at the eyes, see the freakiness. She want hold tight, she no give me less. I give you all of me, you no give me less. Yeah, just hold on, I'll get you undressed. On and on, Erika Badu vibe. Forget your past, come soak in a new life. On and on, she want be my new wife. Forget all that, I'm young and I'm still wild. Hey, she want me do this and she want me do that, me no want to. That girl, she click from her chest to her hips, she want one more.